Hello, good afternoon. This is David Soto talking to you, and today is my weekly Forex trade predictions for the upcoming trading week of May 30th through June 3rd, 2022. Okay, and what I do here is I will look at all the major Forex currency pairs on a 30-minute time frame. Okay, using my new magnificent trend indicator, which you see on the screen right here, and then based upon this and my experience, I will try to give you my very best analysis of what I think is going to happen this coming week. Okay, so to begin with, the US dollar has dropped. Okay, it has dropped steadily for the past 2 weeks. Now at this present point in time, it's hit a fairly strong level of support and is kind of sort of starting to go back up. Will it continue to keep going up? I don't know. This coming Friday is the non-farm payroll, but for the US dollar only. Okay, and those of you who don't know, the non-farm payroll is where the U.S. government releases all their employment data, okay? The unemployment rate and how many new jobs have been added to the economy, okay? They're predicted to have, and I'll show you here on the Forex Factory, there's supposed to be a drop from 3.6% to 3.5% in unemployment rate, okay? And the number of new jobs is supposed to drop, which is not good for the economy. Okay, it says here if the actual is greater than the forecast, then that is good for the currency. So we will see if they request, if this number, the predicted number, is actually higher than this amount here, then that would be good. So I don't know. Last month the unemployment rate did not drop, so this month I'm not sure what's going to happen. Okay, I think it might, but me personally, I do not foresee the U.S. dollar doing well. Okay. Also, you need to note that the non-farm payroll is not being posted for the Canadian dollar. So, with that said, this coming Friday should be very slow. You do not expect a lot of activity, a lot of volatility. So, you should be pretty safe to trade. Okay. I wouldn't worry about that too much. And I don't think the U.S. dollar, even if it is a good report, I don't think U.S. dollar is going to go up that much. Okay, so let's get started here. On my chart, I have pulled up EURUSD. Okay, now if the U.S. dollar has been dropping, that means the euro, Great British Pound, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, all the other major currencies have been going up. Okay, as a result, and clearly here we can see the euro has been going up against the US dollar, but now we hit a strong level of resistance right here on this red arrow. So what that means is that we're going to see a drop in the EURUSD. Okay, now how big of a drop, I don't know. I feel that long term is going to be going up. If you look here on the 4-hour chart, you can see that we have a blue arrow followed by a lower, but then it finally went up, right? Closed both of these in profit. But if we zoom out a little bit, we can see that this has been steadily dropping for quite some time. So are we on the verge of a new uptrend? I don't know. I'm thinking yes, and the reason being, if we use my Excalibur trend indicator, okay, we use my Excalibur trend indicator, we can see, and let me delete this trend line, we can see here that yes, we have in fact have a red arrow on the 4-hour, but if we go to the daily, we show a blue arrow going up, and the weekly as well. Okay, and try to, there we go, try to resize the chart. If you look at the weekly chart, okay, this is very important. The weekly chart shows to be going up. So even if the 4-hour shows to sell, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. Okay, yes, it will drop some, and what I think is going to happen is if we draw a trend line like this coming down to mark our resistance, okay, then what's going to happen is the price is going to go up and hit this. It's going to take some time. Right now the 4-hour shows to sell. If you go back to the 4-hour chart, it shows to sell right now. So it's going to have to go up. Okay, so what's going to happen right now is the price will probably drop a little bit and then go back up more. It may not produce a blue arrow, okay, on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, it might just go up and have another higher arrow. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but what I can definitely tell you is that this will be going up, okay, long term. Over probably the next couple of months, maybe in the next 6 months, we will see this go up, okay. That means the US dollar has to drop in order for that to happen. So, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen this Friday with the non-farm payroll. But for this week, you know, if you keep your charts on a 30-minute time frame using my new magnificent trend indicator, you can sell, and I would definitely just go for like 100 pips or 100 points per trade, okay? That's all I would shoot for. And yes, you can sell right now. You can easily get 100 points out of this. If you get the crosshairs and draw down to this point here, that's already 300 points easily, okay? So yes, just try to focus on some small profits this week. I don't know if we're going to see another blue arrow form. It's very possible that we could also have a red arrow followed by a higher. Like I said, we've had blue arrows followed by lower blue arrows, but then it went up, right? So yes, you could have a red arrow followed by a lower or higher red arrow, right, going in an uptrend, which is not really good. So again, don't focus on big gains, okay? Don't hold these for a long time. So anyhow, moving on to Great British Pound versus the US dollar. We see a very similar fashion here where the price has gained and we hit a strong level of resistance, but it's not really going down, is it? That's what I'm saying. This is very bullish, okay? I probably would not recommend selling right now. If you go to the 4-hour time frame, we can see that this has been steadily going up for the last 2 weeks, okay? And now we hit a strong level of resistance. If we zoom out though, we see we had a long downtrend. Every uptrend was a short-lived, okay? Same thing here. Same thing here. This is, like, again, a short-lived, a short uptrend. So it's probably going to continue down. And if the non-farm payroll has a good report, then you definitely see this drop, okay? But if we get my Excalibur trend indicator and we look at the daily, look at this. The daily chart shows to go up, okay? Let me delete this trend line. The daily chart shows to go up along with the weekly, okay? The weekly chart shows to go up. So that means that this is going to be going up long term, okay, for the next few months. It might drop a little right now, yes, but in the grand scheme of things, in the bigger picture, it will be going up. So I would focus on buying. Right now, if you go to the 30-minute, 1-hour time frame, it shows to sell, and that's what my magnificent trend indicator does. From the 4-hour down, it will display all the same signals on every time frame, okay? And if you go back to my magnificent trend indicator and we look here, there we go. We look here on the 4-hour time frame, it's already showing to sell. So right now probably would be a good time to sell, and again, I would not go after huge profits. With this one here, you can actually get a lot of profit, a lot of pips out of this, but I would go after maybe 1,000 points, okay, and call it a day. If it drops 1,000 points, you're looking at right about here, and this range right here, which is excellent, okay? Very simple. Get some profit, get out, okay? And then wait for another red arrow. Do not hold this for long term, okay? Moving on to Australian dollar versus the US dollar. Same thing. This one did, it gained a little bit. It's more or less been riding sideways, but again, we hit another strong level of resistance. And if we go to the 4-hour chart and look at this, get a bigger picture, we see that yes, we had another uptrend, but it was not a huge uptrend. And then again, we hit another red arrow. If I zoom out, we can see we had a big downtrend here, okay, and then spike back up. And I do expect it to drop again this week. maybe even the next 2 weeks. I don't know, but it will go up again. And the reason being, again, if you go to the Excalibur trend indicator and we look here on the daily chart, it shows to go up, and the weekly chart as well. So we had a big uptrend here and another nice little downtrend, but now we're starting to go into an uptrend. So again, long term, we can expect this one to be going up. Okay, I hope that makes perfect sense. So, you know, again, you can sell right now on the smaller time frames, no big deal, but do not go after huge profits and do not hold for a long time. Okay, and probably in the next few weeks, go in. I think for the next week or two, probably going to see this one drop, but in the coming weeks, the coming months, we're going to see it definitely go back up. Okay, it's just going to be like a game of cat and mouse. So it's going to take some time for this to go back up. So anyhow, yes, you can sell this week. I would not place a trade right this minute because this is a very, very fresh signal. I would wait until at least the New York session or maybe even London session on Monday before I go place any trades to give the market time to wake up from its weekend sleep, right? Now, let's look at the US dollar, okay? The euro, Great British pound, and Australian, New Zealand dollars, those all have been going up. And now we can look at the US dollar. Here's the US dollar versus Swiss franc, and it has definitely dropped this past week. And again, we're seeing the inverse, okay, what has happened previously, and now the US dollar should be going up, okay? We definitely got a strong level of support, and it's just starting to go up. Again, this signal is very, very fresh. Came in at the tail end of Friday, so I don't know. It could repaint and drop more, but you know, it's up in the air right now. But it's just very fresh. I have a feeling it's going to drop more. If we zoom out, we had a big uptrend, okay, big spike, big surge in the US dollar, and then dropped. So what's going to happen next? Go back up? Probably, okay? Probably, especially with if the non-farm payroll is a good report, we will see this go up for sure, okay? I do not think it's going to be huge gain, and I think it's going to be dropping more in the coming weeks. If I get my Excalibur trend indicator and we look at the daily, okay, the daily shows the drop and the weekly as well. So like I said, in the coming weeks and coming months, we're going to be seeing this drop more and more. And if we look at the past, okay, this is over the past 10 years, okay, from this red arrow all the way here has been 10 years. And what has it done in 10 years? Wow, it's pretty much just ride sideways. So I don't know, we're not going to see a huge drop, maybe a few thousand points. If we go here, this is the weekly chart, but if we go from here to this blue arrow, you're looking at over 7,000 points drop. So we could definitely get a few thousand points drop on this, and that's just going to take some time. Okay, it might take the next few months for that to drop. Okay, I don't know. And the bigger picture, if we look at the monthly, it shows the drop, but I don't know. US dollar has dropped a lot, you know, over the past 20 years. So it'll drop more in the future as well. So anyhow, right now for the short term, for the next week or two, do expect it to go up, but in the bigger picture, it's going to drop. Okay. Moving on to US dollar versus Japanese yen. So this one is kind of interesting. Okay, it didn't really gain. It definitely dropped a little bit, but got these two blue arrows here and has not really gone up. So to me, this one is going to be dropping more. Okay, it might go up a little bit more, especially with the non-farm payroll this week, but I don't think we're going to see a huge gain. We're not seeing it go up right now, and we're definitely going to see it go up a whole lot more anyhow. If we go to the 4-hour chart and kind of zoom out a little bit, we see that we had a nice drop here, okay, for the last couple of weeks, and now we got this blue arrow, which indicates a pretty strong level of support. But how high will it go? Not that high. Okay, probably if I mark something, there's a strong level of resistance right here, and that would probably be the likely scenario, or right here. Okay, the price came down right here and marked a strong support, and which is also right now a resistance, because once that support breaks, it forms a resistance. So we can expect the price to go up maybe this point, and that's not a huge gain. Okay, and if we get the crosshairs, you're looking at about a 1,400 point gain. And that's okay. Okay, you can buy this one, but do not take, do not focus on huge profits, huge gains with this one. Okay, get a few hundred points and get out. Okay, do not hold this for long term. If I go use my Excalibur trend indicator and we look at the daily, it shows to go down, and the weekly as well. So again, this one's going to be dropping long term. For me personally, on my live account, I have this trade already set to sell, and I'm just going to hold it. Even if it goes back up right now, I don't care. I'm going to hold this one for the next couple weeks, maybe the next month. Just let the damn thing just drop. Okay, yes, I'll have some swap fees along the way, but that's okay. But I want this one to keep dropping. So anyhow, moving on to US dollar versus Canadian dollar. We definitely saw this one drop the past week. Okay, which is good. We've been expecting the US dollar to drop. Although US dollar, Canadian dollar, they always fight one another, and they have some interesting movement compared to other USD pairs. And as you can see, we already hit a strong level of support. But again, that signal came in right at the close of market on Friday. So I think it's going to drop some more, but I'm sure it's going to go back up. If we look at the 4-hour chart, we can see here that we had a nice little drop here for the last couple of weeks, and now we hit a strong level of support, and it might go up. It could drop a little bit more again, but I think it's going to go up here pretty soon. Probably for the next couple of weeks we will see this go up. I don't know what the Canadian dollar is going to do next week for the NFP. The US dollar is supposed to have a somewhat good report this week. We will see. I think it's just 50-50, and I don't think the US dollar is going to do much of anything. Okay, if we get my Excalibur trend indicator and we look at the daily, it shows to drop. Okay, so keep in mind the US dollar is going to be dropping long term. All right, we look in the past. We had a blue arrow followed by a much lower blue arrow. We had a big downtrend. Okay, and this was all of 2020. Okay, when the pandemic started. Actually, when the COVID pandemic first started in 2020, it surged up. Okay, and then just dropped and kept on dropping. Okay, for a whole entire year, and now it's been steadily, slowly going back up. Okay, will it keep going up? Possibly. Okay, what I think is going to happen is for the next few weeks we're going to see this drop. Probably for the next month or so we're going to see a drop, and then eventually it's going to go back up. If you look at the weekly chart, it shows to go up. So that kind of proves my theory. And remember, this USDCAD, US dollar, Canadian dollar, runs a lot different than other USD pairs. Okay, so these are both linked to the oil industry, and oil really heavily regulates the price of the currency in these two markets. So what we can do is expect this one to drop for the next couple weeks, but in the long term this one should go up. Okay, it's going to be a slow process. If you look at the monthly chart, the biggest of all, it shows to drop. Okay, so I think this will drop, and that's going to be in the next year or so. Okay, we're looking at more than 6 months down the road. Okay, within the next 6 months I do project this to go back up, but in the coming year or so we will see this drop more. So for this week, maybe even next week, we will probably most likely see this go back up. Okay, Again, do not focus on huge profits, huge gains. If we go from here to this point, we're already looking at 1,600 points. So I feel that you could buy and easily get 1,000 points out of this. Okay, very easily. I would not look for huge profits, and I would not place a trade right this very moment. I would wait to at least the New York session on Monday, maybe the London session, but New York session definitely on Monday before you go placing any trades. Okay, just to see what happens to this indicator, if it repaints or whatever. I don't know. This is a very, very fresh signal, and it could drop more, and the indicator could repaint and go back up. So if you use my magnificent trend indicator, keep your charts on a 30-minute or 1 hour. 1 hour is perfectly fine because it's the default. And again, wait until the New York session and then buy, and just try to get, like, I don't know, maybe a few hundred points or even 1,000, whatever. Don't be too greedy. If you go from here to there, you're looking at 1,600 points. So even 500-600 points is good profit, and you know that's very easy to obtain with this currency pair. Okay, just I don't have strong faith that this is going to have a huge gain is all, and I don't want you to think it's going to have a huge profit, or I don't want you to wait for the next red arrow. Okay, it could have a blue arrow followed by a lower blue arrow. It's very, very possible. We don't know. So do not focus on huge profits. Just try to get in and get out. Maybe keep a trade for a few days. That's it. Okay, maybe 1 week at the most. So anyhow, if you have any questions about these predictions, or if you need me to analyze another currency pair, there's so many obviously, just hit me up on Facebook. I'll put a link below in the description of this video for my personal Facebook. Please contact me there first. Also, put a link for my private Facebook group, and you can request to join my Facebook group and post any questions or comments in my Facebook group. And then myself or other traders, we can all assist you, and we can collaborate as a team. Okay? So with that said, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Please let me know how I can help you, and thank you so much.